Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our live stream. My name is Sarah Porey-Galyaboff, and I am a program manager with the Illinois Science and Technology Institute. I am so excited to be kicking off our Spring Spotlight Mentor Mondays with one of our phenomenal volunteers, Lauresa Woolfolk. So we will be getting started here today to talk about a program that Lauresa volunteers with, which is our Mentor Matching Engine program. So the Mentor Matching Engine allows high school students across Illinois to connect with mentors virtually around topics that they're interested in. So they create projects and then are able to choose from a list of experts. Something that our staff has been really excited about over the past couple of years is the way that students have shifted to really focus their projects on issues that are affecting them in our current world. So we've seen a great uptick in environmental science projects that reflect climate change, and we've seen a great uptick in political science projects that reflect our current political moment. And mostly we've seen an incredible increase in sociology and psychology projects. So sociology and psych are really big STEM subjects in our staff's mind because they really depend on the research aspect. So here today to talk about some of the projects that she oversaw in that vein is, again, our phenomenal volunteer, Lauresa. Lauresa, I'm just going to kick it off by having you talk a little bit about your background.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauresa Woolfolk, as Sarah stated. I'm from Manalapan, New Jersey, and I'm currently a PhD student studying applied behavior analysis at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology at their online campus.
That's phenomenal. So we connected with Lauresa specifically through the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, who's a great partner with us. And Lauresa, just to dig a little bit deeper, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to a first-generation college student, and what your greatest learning experience was in that role?
Well, first, I would tell them not to put too much pressure on themselves to succeed for the benefit of their family or to earn the title that I'm the first. I recommend that each student, they earn the degree because it's what they want to do, and it's a representation of the love they have for a subject. For me personally, while I was in college, the greatest learning experience was the leadership component. I was inducted into the National Residence Hall Honorary, which recognized the top 1% of leaders on campus. And I was also the president of two organizations and the treasurer of one. So leadership was instilled in me during that time. I was cultivated a lot by my own personal mentor and also various professors within the department. So that was the greatest thing that I learned while I was in college.
That's great. I want to circle back there for a second. You touched on your own personal mentor. I'd love to know how mentorship played a role in your life, and more about that specific mentor who kind of helped to guide you.
So mentorship played a huge role in my life. I did not have a mentor while I was going through high school, but I did have one in undergrad. And I don't know where I'd be today without her. Her name was Dean Rosemary Howell. She was very intricate in my academic development, my professional, and in me personally. We developed a strong bond, and I affectionately started to refer to her as Dean Mom. She was everything I needed while I was in college, whether it was encouragement, helping me write, or developing an impeccable locution. If it had not been for her, I would not be in a PhD program today. And I always tell her I owe my academic success to her completely.
That's great. At ISTI, we really focus our programs around mentorship. And I know that you've had this experience with your great mentor in undergrad, and now you've become a virtual mentor for us. And virtual mentorship is specific and odd and challenging in a lot of different ways. But I'd love to know, before you became a mentor on MME, what did mentorship mean to you? What does it mean to be a mentor or to have a mentor?
Well, to me, it meant someone who was going to be hands-on and who was going to vow to be there to give me the love, support, whatever I needed. But since gaining more experience, it has not changed. However, through MME, it's a bit different. Being a virtual mentor is interesting. I never see my students, and I only know them through what they write. Also, we only are discussing their research as needed. So I'm not able to offer unsolicited advice. That's what I hear from a lot of the teachers. They say, well, don't give it to them, let them come to you for help. But because it's their research, I want my students to know that this is their study. I encourage that. I encourage autonomy. And I want them to know that I'm here to support them with whatever they need. But I also give them the freedom to have the freedom, that they need. Because I want them to become researchers. They love this topic, and I want to cultivate them through this experience. So it hasn't changed much, but it is different because I'm not able to see them. And again, we're only discussing their research.
Yeah, I love that you touched on that student agency piece. That's really big for us. That's why we let the students create the projects before anything else happens. That's why we have them request mentors rather than mentors requesting students. We really want to build on that skill set for our students. So I love that you're really advocating for that in your student projects as well.
Absolutely.
Turning a little bit towards your specific student projects, I was looking through them and I noticed you've taken on a lot of projects that aren't necessarily in your immediate wheelhouse. So from what I know of your background, you focus on child psychology.
Right.
But you took on a lot of projects around music or environmental studies or environmental psych. How were you able to use your skill set to kind of reach these students who are looking at projects beyond your immediate study?
I'm a researcher. So that's just who I am. And on my mentor bio, I tell my potential mentees that even if I'm not too familiar with their topic, I'll do my research to get the gist of it. I'm so interested in all of their studies. So guiding them through this hasn't been hard at all. The basis of research, it's an intro, methods, results, discussion. So as long as we keep those and maybe add in extras to fit their specific needs, we'll be just fine. So yes, I believe as long as the mentor is a researcher at heart, doesn't mind learning, doesn't mind engaging, you'll be fine.
I think so as well. And at ISDI, we really do go out of our way to find mentors with that mindset. And it's what makes you such a phenomenal mentor, Mark. We're so
Thank you.
lucky to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
As somebody who has studied team development, why do you think mentorship matters from a psychological standpoint? Why does it matter for high school age students specifically?
Well, during this phase in their lives, kids are in search of autonomy and personal identity. So they're setting goals for themselves and prepping their lives for adulthood. And having a mentor along the way that can cultivate their development and be a sounding board for them to have the freedom to express what they're experiencing and most of all, what they're feeling and being validated in those feelings is key in this stage. Oftentimes, in my opinion, teens who aren't validated, they often experience being influenced and going in the wrong direction, and that can be deleterious to their overall growth and development as they enter the earlier adulthood stages.
That's great. That's great to hear. And validating from our program standpoint. Expanding on that a little bit, why do you think that programs like this, mentorship programs and programs that allow students to make these kind of connections are important?
Well, programs like this aren't just awesome for the mentees; they're great for us as well. My students have done more for me than I've done for them. They're always so grateful for me being there for them and helping them, but they inspire me to keep going as well. They have no idea. I'm in the beginning phases of my doctoral research myself, and it gets hard. But they, in some way, they encourage me to keep going when the going gets tough because I know I have these kids who are depending on me to help me with their research, and they inspire me every day. These kids are awesome writers. The level at which they write, I did not reach that level till I entered college. I was a horrible writer in high school. So these kids, I always tell even like my friends and my family how much these kids do for me. And I think that programs like this can foster symbiotic relationships, if you will, and provide mutual cultivation for the mentor and the mentee. So it's definitely mutually beneficial for the both of us throughout this process.
Lauresa, that's a phenomenal answer.
Thank you.
So much of what we build on is relationship building for our students, and they're so lucky to have you so that they can kind of learn from your example and see what you've been able to build here. Thank you for going that extra mile for our student. Thank you for coming in today to launch our Mentor Monday Spring Spotlight. We so appreciate it. Is there anything that you want to add, anything that you feel we should touch on?
Well, I think we pretty much touched on everything, but again, I hope that everyone is doing well, through the COVID-19 crisis. Again, like I was telling you, Sarah, I think about my kids every day. I miss my students so much, and I've only heard for about 2 of them, but I do hope that they're all doing well, and I can't wait for us to regain normalcy in our lives so we can get the ball rolling because I know their research is, they still do. So I want to help them wrap this project up so we can finish strong, and then I'll get ready for the next set of students. So I hope everyone is doing well, and please be safe.
Thank you so much. And you stay safe as well. And thank you again for your time. Have an excellent rest of your day, Lauresa.
Thanks, Sarah.
And for those of you who are interested in learning how to become a mentor like Lauresa, we will have a comment in our comment section on this post for how to sign up to learn more.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.